Forbes just dropped its 2025 list of the most powerful women in sports, and Angel Reese is fuming. Why? Because Caitlin Clark landed at number 4, sitting shoulder to shoulder with team owners, CEOs, and billion-dollar decision makers, making her the highest ranked athlete on the entire list. Meanwhile, Reese didn't crack the top tier at all. And remember, Clark just wrapped up a rookie season valued at $8.1 million 1 year, 1 season, 1 financial shockwave. But here's the crazy part. This isn't the first time Reese has shown frustration over Clark's rise. From their college battles to the Wnba spotlight, there's been a running theme: resentment that's becoming impossible to ignore. Before I break all of it down, if you're Team Caitlin, drop baby goat over baby giraffe in the comments. Now, here's what makes this Forbes ranking unlike anything we've ever seen in women's sports. Forbes didn't judge Clark by points per game or assist totals. They ranked her in the same category as billionaire franchise owners and Fortune 500 executives, strictly on business power. The only names ahead of her, actual billionaires and women who own entire sports teams. That's the lane she's already in at just 23 years old. While most WNBA rookies fight to make 6 figures across multiple seasons, Clark pulled in $8.1 million during her first year alone. Her WNBA salary, only $70K, meaning the real money came from endorsements, 115 times her basketball paycheck. Here's where it came from. Nike didn't just sign her, they invested in a full signature shoe line with a payout structure we've never seen for a WNBA player. Gatorade partnered with her like she's an NBA megastar. Wilson handed her the type of equipment deal usually reserved for all-time greats. These aren't typical sponsorships. These are superstar-level contracts, the kind companies give to LeBron James or Steph Curry. And Clark's earnings? They eclipse what many WNBA veterans make after decades in the league. The average WNBA salary sits around $120,000. Players with 10-15 years of experience haven't earned what Clark collected in endorsements during her rookie season. Sue Bird played 21 seasons. Diana Taurasi has dominated the league for 2 decades. Caitlin Clark made more in 1 year than many icons make over multiple seasons combined. So why did Forbes rank her this high? Because Clark isn't just an athlete, she's an economic engine. Forbes evaluated her influence on revenue, media rights, ticket sales, TV markets, and overall growth in women's sports. They recognize that she doesn't just play basketball, she shifts culture and drives entire business ecosystems. Back to Nike for a second. Most WNBA players get a few appearance checks and some free gear. Clark secured a signature line, massive guaranteed money, and revenue sharing. Nike is betting she can sell shoes the way Jordan built an empire. And here's the wildest part of all. Clark's income last year actually surpassed the valuation of some WNBA franchises. Yes, she made more than what entire teams are worth. Clark is operating financially closer to owners and league executives than to players her age. Forbes didn't just put her on a list, they acknowledged her as a business empire wrapped in a 23-year-old phenom. Her reach goes way beyond scoring buckets. She brings in new fans, new viewers, new markets. Kids want her gear, casual sports fans tune in, and companies see her as the future of women's sports. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game, she's changing the entire industry around it. Caitlin Clark doesn't just play basketball, she turns every WNBA appearance into a primetime event. Forbes recognized her grind, her discipline, and most importantly, her unmatched ability to grow the game. Whenever Clark steps on the court, TV ratings climb. When she's on the schedule, opposing teams suddenly raise ticket prices, and the moment she posts anything online, her engagement numbers go through the roof. That's the kind of influence Forbes measures, economic impact, and Clark delivers it every single time. And this is exactly why some players feel the pressure rising. While others fight for traditional respect within basketball circles, Clark is already playing in a completely different arena. She's not chasing after endorsement crumbs. She's competing with corporate leaders and power players who influence global markets. That's a whole different level, and not everyone is thrilled to watch her leave them behind. Let's be honest, this tension started long before Forbes released anything. Angel Reese's response to Clark's ranking wasn't a random flare-up. It's just the newest chapter in a long, clear pattern of jealousy that traces all the way back to college. From Iowa versus LSU to the pros, Reese has repeatedly tried to position herself as Clark's equal, even when the market makes the difference loud and obvious. Just look at the timeline. Back in college, Anytime Clark lit up the headlines with a record-breaking game, Reese suddenly popped up with workout clips or comments about being underappreciated. When Clark was setting NCAA scoring records, Reese made sure to remind everyone about her game. When Clark's logo threes went viral, Reese shifted the conversation toward how she felt overlooked. Then came the WNBA draft, where the split became undeniable. Clark went #1 overall to the Fever, and the media attention was instant and massive. Brands lined up within days. Reese, drafted 7th by Chicago, watched Clark dominate every rookie discussion, and that's when the subtle jabs really escalated. Reese's attempts to create her own moments always seemed strategically timed around Clark's biggest achievements. Clark signs a historic Nike deal. Reese unveils her Reebok partnership days later. Clark drops her first breakout WNBA performance. Reese schedules interviews and social posts right behind her. These weren't coincidences. They were calculated attempts to catch the momentum Clark naturally generates. But the clearest example came during WNBA All-Star Weekend. Reese launched her Reebok shoe push at the exact moment Clark was sidelined with an injury, and ticket prices crashed without Clark in the lineup. Clark's absence exposed her real star power. Reese tried to jump into the spotlight anyway, but the market response barely budged, and that contrast shows up in every single partnership. Clark's Nike signature shoe happened because fans demanded it. Brands chased her because she was already moving product and pulling in new audiences. Reese's endorsements, meanwhile, feel forced, loudly promoted, heavily staged, and far more dependent on timing than actual demand. At the end of the day, the gap is undeniable. Clark's influence is organic, magnetic, and measurable. Reese keeps trying to keep pace, but the market keeps telling a different story. Brands partner with Angel Reese, hoping some of Caitlin Clark's star power will rub off, but the truth is, the authentic fan connection just isn't there on the same level, and Reese's comments about being underrated or wanting more respect almost always seem to surface right after Clark is praised. Whenever Clark is celebrated for elevating women's basketball, Reese pivots the conversation toward collective credit. When Clark earns individual awards, Reese emphasizes team achievements. She constantly frames herself as the counter story to Clark's rise, and the timing of her business moves, that tells its own story. Clark lands Gatorade, then Reese unveils a competing beverage deal. Clark gets featured in major national campaigns, and suddenly Reese posts about her own partnerships. It's been a pattern from day one. Reese chasing the momentum Clark naturally creates. Social media makes the dynamic even clearer. Reese's posts frequently hint at being overlooked or undervalued, especially right after Clark receives major attention. The message is subtle but unmistakable. Clark breaks attendance records. Reese talks about her impact. Clark gets a national TV feature. Reese posts about how she's also growing the game. Every move reflects the same theme. And the latest example sealed it. After Forbes ranked Caitlin Clark as the most powerful female athlete in sports, Reese didn't congratulate her. She reacted in a way many fans saw as yet another response rooted in comparison, not celebration. The Forbes snub wasn't random. Forbes simply confirmed what the market has been signaling for 2 years straight. Clark drives value on a level no other WNBA player is close to right now. She wins across every measurable category: revenue, influence, cultural reach. Reese didn't appear anywhere on their radar, and you see the difference every single day. Clark's games draw bigger TV audiences. Her merch sells out faster. Her social engagement dwarfs everyone else. Companies pay a premium to attach themselves to her brand. The market has already chosen its star. Some people are still fighting that reality. Want to understand Clark's true power? Look at what happened when she wasn't there. The WNBA got a painful wake-up call when Clark was injured heading into All-Star Weekend. The league's entire promotional strategy had been built around one player, and once she was ruled out, everything collapsed. Ticket prices crashed 48% overnight. What was supposed to be a premium event in Indianapolis dropped from $121 a ticket to as low as $64. Fans who were willing to pay top dollar for Clark suddenly checked out when she wasn't available, and the TV ratings told an even harsher story. The 2025 All-Star Game suffered a 36% drop without Clark, falling from 3.44 million viewers to 2.19 million. Over 1 million people tuned out simply because Clark wasn't playing. That kind of decline had never happened in WNBA history because of a single player's absence. Throughout her first 2 seasons, Clark's effect was undeniable. The league averaged 657,000 viewers per game in 2024, but that number was heavily inflated by Indiana's matchups. Whenever the Fever played, the ratings jumped. The WNBA produced 22 games with more than 1 million viewers that year, most of them featuring Clark. And here's where the numbers get insane. Caitlin Clark generated 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity in her rookie season alone. One player accounted for more than a quarter of the league's financial output. She didn't just help the WNBA grow, she was the engine driving the entire operation. Even away games proved her pull. Whenever the Fever traveled, ticket sales skyrocketed in opposing arenas. Clark's influence is not hype, it's measurable, it's historic, and it's something the league and certain rivals can't ignore. Ticket demand skyrocketed the moment Caitlin Clark entered the league. Sales jumped 93% compared to 2023, and StubHub confirmed that opposing arenas saw their biggest crowds of the year whenever the Fever came through. Clark didn't have to hype anything. She packed buildings simply by stepping onto the court. Merch sales exploded across the entire WNBA. Sponsors poured money in because Clark was bringing in new viewers, new buyers, and new attention. And it wasn't just Indiana benefiting. Every team saw a boost thanks to the spotlight she created. Brands weren't just investing in the WNBA. They were investing in Clark's ability to attract millions of eyes. Her popularity lifted the entire league. But when you compare the numbers, the gap becomes obvious. Angel Reese didn't generate the same surges in TV ratings. Other rookies didn't spark the same ticket spikes. Even longtime veterans with legendary careers couldn't match Clark's market-moving influence. The data made it crystal clear. Clark is in a league of her own. While the WNBA hesitated to fully capitalize on her star power, the LPGA moved instantly. The moment Clark showed interest in golf, executives paired her with Nelly Korda at the Pelican Golf Club Pro-Am. They launched clinics, media promotions, broadcast features, everything. They shifted schedules and formed partnerships faster than the WNBA could figure out how to market their own generational star. The LPGA embraced her crossover appeal. The WNBA, meanwhile, missed opportunity after opportunity in Clark's first year. Other organizations recognized her value before her own league did. Because Clark wasn't just hooping, she was expanding the entire landscape of women's sports. Her $8.1 million rookie year earnings from Nike, Wilson, and Gatorade represented a turning point in how female athletes are valued. Clark proved the audience existed, and suddenly companies started treating women's sports like a real investment, not charity. Her financial impact is shaping the future of the entire industry. Clark set a new standard for what a female athlete can earn, generate, and represent. And Forbes made it official. Clark isn't competing with players anymore. She's competing with executives, owners, and industry leaders. Landing at number 4 on Forbes' list placed her alongside women who run billion-dollar businesses and own major sports franchises. That's not basketball territory, that's power territory. While others get caught up in on-court rivalries, Clark is building something far bigger, a long-term sports empire with enduring business value. Her Nike signature line, her Gatorade deals, her massive endorsements, they aren't momentary hype, they're the foundation of a permanent presence in global sports culture. The real question isn't whether she earned this recognition. The real question is whether the rest of women's basketball can rise to the standards she's now setting. If you support Caitlin, drop baby goat over baby giraffe in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and click the video on your screen. We'll see you in the next one.